Hi there, welcome to Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. It's time for our annual tomato tasting. We're going to give these 4 varieties a trial and see how we did this year on picking some good, flavorful varieties. Let's go. A little bit about my strategy of growing tomatoes this year. If you follow my channel, you've seen every year that I start tomatoes indoors and I put them out and grow them to fruition, and we always trial them to see which, did we win? Did we lose? Did we get some winners? I think we might have some winners this year. I took the strategy of growing hybrids this year mostly because we have problems in our area with pestilence, disease, and all kinds of harsh weather. The last 3 years have been extreme in the weather department. We've had extreme droughts, extreme freezes, and extreme rain. And I think, I can't prove it, but I think that the extreme weather has really affected our environment in our area and increased our bug pressure as well. So I've noticed this year we've had much more leaf-footed bugs than we've ever had before. Haven't had so many caterpillars, haven't had armyworms, but the leaf-footed bugs, you can always tell when you've got leaf-footed bugs. They puncture the skin of your tomatoes, and your tomatoes get this kind of blotchy look when they're ripe, and it's not very attractive. You might think about, man, a bug's proboscis has been in there, and do I really want to eat it? They're fine to eat, especially if you just cook with them. But so I grew the hybrids because they're disease resistant. And if you've watched my channel, you saw I put in a couple of heirloom varieties. I put in Amish paste, and I put in some Cherokee purple, and neither of those are doing well. The Amish paste succumbed to fusarium wilt almost immediately, and the Cherokee purples are struggling right now. The other plants, they're powering along, doing just fine because they're disease resistant. So let's go ahead and try some of these. All right, where do we want to start? Let's start with the old standard, the Edox cherry tomato. I'm just going to cut it open so you can see what it looks like inside. If I can't do this without cutting my finger off. Now you see these are ripened a little inconsistently, and the seeds and the seed gelatin are a little bit dark. That's kind of standard on these. So that's the Edox, that's what it looks like inside. We'll put that aside. Let's cut them open and look at them first. Now we're going to take the Icicle Candy. I'm going to slice this one open. Very bright and yellow. That's a surprise. That's a nice looking little cherry tomato there. It's got a good smell to it. I have high hopes for this one. So we'll set that aside. Let's cut open this Jolene. This is a nice hamburger size, salad size tomato. I'm going to cut it right in the middle so we get a good look at what's in there. Wow, it doesn't get any prettier than that. That's a beautiful tomato. Good amount of meat to gel. I like that. It's got a classic tomato scent. This is probably going to be a good one. Now for the one I'm excited about. Which one are we going to do? Let's take this big guy. I want to weigh it first and find out how much this is. Most of these have been coming in at around 12 ounces. And there we go. This one's 12.56 ounces. That's a hefty boy right there. That's a big slicer. Now, these are interesting. Let's take a look at the inside. Let's slice this one open. My knife doesn't almost span the whole thing. There we go. Look at that. That is mostly meat, and there's not a whole lot of juice, and there's that red I was talking about. You can see there's some red in there. This has got an interesting flavor. I've already tasted a few of these, and I think I've tasted them, some of them before they were fully ripe. This one is fully ripe, so let's get these tasted now and find out which one is going to be our winner. All right, Edox. I know what this is like. Let's try it. I'm going to take the bottom half. Very delicious. The Edox is a very balanced tomato. It's not super sweet, not super tart, but it has that savory tomato flavor that you want from a good garden-grown tomato. It's versatile. You can use it in cooking. You can make sauces with it. It's got a lot of meat to it. It's not so juicy that it's all just seeds and gel like some of these cherry tomatoes are. The Edox is going to be number 1 for now. In fact, I'll keep records right over here. Number 1 so far is Edox. I'll put an E for Edox. All right, that was good. Edox, the hybrid there, always performs, never disappoints. Now you can see, maybe you can see, this is the Icicle Candy, and it's got more gel than meat. So it's kind of a typical small tomato. Let's try this. This is the first time for me trying this variety. Okay. Well, it's almost the same flavor as that Edox. Maybe not quite as, I don't want to say umami, but the savoriness, the tomatoiness of it. It's not tart at all. It doesn't have a lot of acid. It's juicier. So, you know, if you're looking for a juicy tomato, juicy cherry tomato that pops in your mouth, maybe this would be good for you. Again, this is a dwarf variety, and, well, it's a cute little tomato. It's coming in at number 2 because, well, it tastes good. Oh, and the aftertaste. It's got a better aftertaste than I thought it would. It's a clean aftertaste, not too vegetal. Let's put that at number 2 for now. We're going to call that the Icicle Candy at number 2. All right, Jolene. I have not tried Jolene. I've been waiting to try this tomato. I like to try from the bottom half of the tomato because it kind of ripens from that side up first. And let's get us a slice. All right, I'm going to take half of that, and we're going to try it. Jolene, a determinate variety that I got from Johnny's Seeds, a hybrid, disease resistant, doing well in the garden even in this heat. That's got an interesting flavor. It's like your perfect salad tomato. That would do good on a hamburger too. That's your basic tomato. It's a delicious tomato. I'm waiting for some aftertaste. It's got kind of a salty aftertaste almost. Yeah, there's a little bit of salt, a little bit of acid. The acid's not up front. It kind of lingers back. And yeah, it's got almost a ketchupy note at the end. Wow, I like that. And it's got a lot of meat in it too if you wanted to make a sauce with it. Let's try that again. Wow, that's good. That's a pretty good tomato. The only problem with this plant is it's not producing a lot of tomatoes. I've got 4 that I can see over there, while with these guys I've got dozens and dozens, and there's tons of them still out there ripening up. But that's a good tomato. If I could find a way to get this Determinate to produce more fruit all at once, it would be worthwhile. It's a very delicious tomato. Man, I know it's hard to compare standard sized tomatoes with little cherry tomatoes because they're kind of a different ball game, but I'm going to bump this to number 2. That's good. So 3 is going to be the Icicle Cherry, and number 2 will be the Jolene. Okay, let's move these off to my plate that I have reserved for these chunks. I'm going to taste this again. Wow, that's a good tomato. That's worthy of a salad and a hamburger. All right, well, let's take a chunk of this guy. This is the Harvest Moon variety. Again, it is a hybrid. It's producing tons and tons of fruit, and they're soggy ripe almost, so let's try it. Here we go, Harvest Moon. The thing I note about Harvest Moon is that its flesh is very soft. It's not a firm tomato. The flavor's outstanding. In fact, I don't know if I've had such a good tomato in a long time. This is outstanding flavor. The skin's not too tough. Obviously, it's huge. You could lay a slab of this across your smash burger and go to town with a good meal. There's not a whole lot of juice. The juice and seed to flesh ratio, there's much more flesh in these. And the flesh, like I said, is kind of soft. I bet you could make a really great tomato sauce, an orange tomato sauce with these. It's a little bit weird because the flesh is so soft, I'm trying to find something to compare it to in terms of its texture. That's a good tomato. Its taste is a little, I can't describe it. It's not super intense tomato flavor. It's a mild tomato flavor. You would think a lot of these gold and orange tomatoes, they have a real tartness to them. I think of the one that I liked from many years ago, the Amana Orange, one of my favorite tomatoes of all time. This does not taste like the Amana Orange. It's mild. It's almost as if there's too much water in them. Well, this is a keeper. Would I grow it again? Probably so. My only problem is I always try new varieties because I'm still searching for things like this Edox. Ones that perform for me well. They outlast my pests and heat. And they just perform well in my area. But I'm also looking for a gigantic steak tomato like this. I mean, look at that. That's huge. I want something like this to be a winner. So far, this is going to be a winner. I mean, I got 50 of these things. What am I going to do with all these? I'm going to have to make tomato sauce. This is going to come in. Where am I going to rank it? It's unique. It's kind of an outlier. It doesn't hang with the others in terms of the tomato flavor. This Jolene is probably going to be my favorite of the big tomatoes. So I'm going to put a tie. Here we go. Here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to put a tie with the Edox and the Jolene. And I'm going to put the Harvest Moon at number 2. And that's how we're ranking them this year. Well, there we have it. A very short video, but that's all we've got because we did our taste test. I don't have hundreds of varieties. I only have 4 that are successful. I have a Cherokee Purple out there, and I know that would rank high in my testing, but they're not ripe yet, and the plants are just disease-ridden and hurting from the heat. They don't do well after it gets hot. It's already in the mid to upper 90s around here during the day, and we've had tons of rain. There's all kinds of disease pressure in the garden. So I don't know if I'll have Cherokee Purples this year. And I said I would have Amish paste tomatoes if they hadn't got the wilt. So that's the way it goes with gardening. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. If you want to grow tomatoes and you have trouble with diseases in your area, get some hybrids that are bred to be disease resistant. Things like this Harvest Moon and this Jolene. Harvest Moon is an indeterminate. It'll grow and grow until it dies. It'll keep producing. Jolene is a determinate. It's a bush variety. It will grow. It's actually very large, but it will grow and put on a set of fruit, maybe 2 sets of fruit, but once that is done, the plant's done. That's what a determinate is. But whatever you grow, man, these things are better than anything you can get in the store. Hey, once again, if you'd like to support our channel, check my Amazon store below. I show you all the products that I do recommend because I use them. And they're all down there. If you buy from my Amazon store, you can support our channel. Thanks for joining me on Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. I hope you have happy gardening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. Man, I think I got to eat some more of this just to make sure. It's strange. It's almost got light. It's almost like sherbet in color in the inside.